It has been a very difficult weekend for English football with the tragedy yesterday evening at Leicester City and also the news of Glenn Hoddle falling ill before the game yesterday. You were talking when we were coming into the match about Glenn Hoddle, and you actually had quite some dealings with him when he was the Spurs manager, when you were the Ireland manager.
Yeah, even before I was Irish manager, maybe just shortly after, but I had to approach him in relation to making Chris Hughton available. Chris was his assistant at Spurs, and I spoke to Glenn about the possibility of him releasing Chris for the international weeks, and I have to say he couldn't have been more helpful and respectful of the international role. Maybe having been the international manager himself, he understood what it was like, and how important it was to have somebody with you who of the right style and the right ability. And he was more than helpful in going to Daniel Levy for me and smoothing that path. So, you know, when I saw the whole, I've done a couple of television bits with Glenn over the years as well too. I always found him to be a real gentleman, and his deep knowledge of the game is there for all to see. Apart from that, he was one of my heroes, I think, as a player, and his style of playing and his brilliance on the ball and his goal scoring from the midfield, which if you actually look at the numbers they might be around today and tomorrow in the newspapers, exceptional. But look, let's just hope he gets well. The other situation at Leicester is a real tragedy. We have been lucky in the past to be at Leicester maybe early enough that we've seen the helicopter arrive, and late enough to see the helicopter go, and kind of probably looked at it with a little bit of fun about it and respect as well. But you know, everybody has to respect what's happened at Leicester in the last few years under the ownership of the Toy family and what they have done at that club, and the respect I held up with the support, held them with the supporters, the decency of supporters, some of the things they've done, like giving out presents to the supporters, just little presents at certain times for when it was somebody's birthday or whatever, and the whole atmosphere around the club. And as the supporters said, they made their dreams come true. They won the Premier League, they got promotion from the Championship, and said that they'd be in the top 5. They did all that, and what's happened last night is a real tragedy for that club, but particularly for the family. And it's look, you know, it's hard to grasp how fickle life can be at times, and we get upset about players' performances and maybe squashed up media commentary positions like here today. But when you see what happens after a game, after the joy of what was probably a very good game yesterday with Leicester and West Ham, a 1-1 draw, it's just awful.
Well said as always, and thanks for today, Brian.
Thank you, Nathan. It's great to be with you today.